Numbers chapter 34, verse 12 reads, "And the border shall go down to the Jordan, and its limit shall be at the salt sea. This shall be your land as defined by its borders all around." Often we stand back and we can survey our own domain as if we have achieved something great that attests to our own greatness. This is a very subtle and dangerous self-deception. Granted, we probably worked very hard, and yet we should never get so proud and arrogant. What about the person who has worked hard and has very little? What about the missionary who has worked for years with perhaps only a few or no converts? What about the church planter who has strove for years only to achieve a congregation of about 20? Who are we to judge the effectiveness of their ministries based on sizes? It's the Lord's great redemptive program, is it not? In this passage, the Lord defined the domain for the nation of Israel. He set them out on the conquest of Canaan, and he was giving them the land. And their part was to join him in the conquest by faith. The Lord established the boundaries of their domain just as he establishes ours. And this is the proper perspective that recognizes the sovereignty of the Lord and that he works providentially to accomplish his great mission. It is an appropriate perspective in our individual lives. David had this perspective when he gathered the collection from the people for the construction of the Jerusalem temple. Let me read his words to you. He said, "But who am I and what is my people that we should be able to thus offer willingly? For all things come from you, and of your own we have given you." And Moses understood this when he recounted the work of the Israelites as the Lord led and provided for them on their 40 years of wandering in the wilderness. He stated, "For the Lord your God has blessed you in all the work of your hands." This principle does not mean that we should live on the dole, be lazy. The scriptures clearly teach that we must work. We also may seek higher paying jobs, bigger homes and property and so on. However, in all of this, we must also realize like the Israelites, we are really joining the Lord in his sovereign program. The perspective keeps us from prideful and destructive attitudes. And this perspective on the Lord's sovereignty is also vital in our ministries. All too often I hear pastors talking, perhaps boasting about the number of adherents or the magnitude of their Sunday worship attendance. I find those with small congregations often depressed and embarrassed about their size. Is it not the Lord who builds the church? Is it not he who adds the increase? As the Lord defined the borders of Israel, he is also sovereign over the size of our ministries. If we keep our perspective right, we will learn how to be content in all situations. We will give glory to God, and we will experience the blessing of joining the Lord in his sovereign program.